Well, what the f have you got there then, Bob? Oh, what's this? Very strange. Oh, how about this one? Whoa, even weirder. Cooling fans. Emergency power generator in case we have a blackout this winter. Come on, put us out of our misery. What have we got here then? Okay, well, I'll tell you. Well, first off, apologies to those folk out there that subscribe or follow my channel for my radio controlled plane building stuff and other flying, paramotor or whatever. But this is a bit of a one-off and you might find it interesting, so stick with it. So what is this all about? Well, I'll tell you. Now, I think most of you will be familiar with those Chinese wholesaler companies, AliExpress, Temu, Banggood and so on. Well, in a crazy moment, the other evening, looking at the AliExpress app, I spotted what they call bundle deals with some rather weird little educational toys. And I've always been quite interested in engineering, so for the sake of probably, I think this is £2 or £3, this is £2 or £3, oh maybe £3 or £4 that one. I thought, yeah, go on, have a crazy moment, send for some of these. I think we spent about £8 in total including shipping. And these toys arrived. They are designed as educational kits, so very useful for getting kids into a bit of engineering, some clever engineering there in fact, and electrics and so on. And they might give you some ideas for Christmas presents for your kids or grandkids, plus they're quite a bit of fun to put together. So this is how these little kits come, little flat packs, instructions inside. They're little kits that you have to put together. Did look a little bit scary when I opened the package and got them out, but in fact open the packets and lay out the bits and pieces and it all starts to fall into place and you can begin to start working it out. These wooden ones, you have to press out the bits. Got instructions. Interesting thing was, instructions are in Chinese, but even someone with half a brain like me could figure out from these drawings exactly how this went together. Gets a little bit confusing when it came to the size of little screws that you use, but you can usually work it out by looking at the pictures, and if you can't work it out you always got the option of taking a photograph of that and putting it into Google Translate as an image. And by the wonder of modern science you'll be able to actually read it in English. Now this one was a bit more difficult. This is called a wind boat. I'll put a picture up because you can't see much of it there. The instructions are already a bit crushed and torn in the packaging. So what are you supposed to do with these bits? Well, the idea is, as you can see in the picture, you take a couple of empty drinks bottles and the balsa kit that came with it and you make a wind boat. I'll show you on the bigger picture, but you've got one prop there which is supposed to give it the thrust to move, and you've got one prop there which will either thrust this way or thrust that way. And the kit comes with a very simple remote control transmitter and receiver with 5 buttons. You need 2 AA batteries for the transmitter and 3 for the receiver power pack which powers the motors. One thing I had to work out was what the buttons did. That is one motor pushing, or is it pulling? Actually it's pulling. Oh no, that is one motor pushing, that is one motor thrusting, that button there is one motor thrusting, and that one is the other motor thrusting, and the other buttons reverse the direction. So you've got thrust, or you've got pull, tractor motion as we call it in RC planes. So quite fun, but what's the point of it all, you might say? Well, they call them educational toys, and as someone that's always been interested in engineering, it occurred to me that if you had kids that you wanted to get into engineering or that might have an interest in engineering, you've got some good examples of engineering and electrics there, and it might stimulate a bit of creative potential in your kids or grandchildren. Speaking of creative potential, what am I going to do with this then? Now the idea was, as you saw in this picture, a wind boat using 2 discarded drinks bottles. Well, I don't have any discarded drinks bottles because I don't drink bottled water. I do have a couple of cheap brandy bottles, confession time, and I'm going to use these to do something with this bit of kit. Now the original idea is one motor thrusting and one motor pushing or pulling sideways. Seems to me not a very efficient way to use those motors. Now I used to be a commercial yacht skipper. I've driven lots of boats, including twin screw power boats, and I figure 2 motors pushing here will drive it more efficiently than one pushing and one pushing it sideways. And with a twin screw boat, if you only power one at a time, of course it turns the boat. So I think you get the best of the motors that way. So at some point when it's a really rainy day and I've got nothing to do with radio control planes or anything else, I reckon I might try and do something with this. But of course you might be asking yourself, why have I shown you this stuff at all? As I said, they're educational toys, and I think if you can stimulate a bit of interest in engineering, electronics and whatever, you might unlock something in your kids. But I'm going to stop rambling on about it. I've found it fun anyway. I'm trying really hard to resist the temptation to buy a really complex version of this. I'll show you the picture of it because it's just such a brilliant bit of engineering, and it's only about 10 quid. Oh, I'm losing my balls. I think it's going to be quite a good engineering challenge, and why not? £10. It's over a fiver for a pint of beer now in the UK, so I mean £10 for something that's going to keep me amused for a couple of hours, I think it's got to be worth the money. But I'll stop rambling on. I hope some of you have found this a bit interesting. It's out of the run of my usual radio control plane stuff, so won't appeal to everybody, but it might appeal to a few. But that's it for now. Safe flying if you're flying radio controlled models, or have fun whatever you're doing, and hopefully I might catch you all again later. Don't forget to check out my channel, which has got loads of radio controlled plane stuff on it, drones, plus a bit of sailing, plus a bit of paramotoring, wildlife, you name it, it's on my channel. But stop going on, I'll say goodbye now and hopefully catch you all later. Bye for now.